JK and his relationship with his label has come out during the industry report, and this is extremely controversial. People also believe that JK and V had filed to leave the label, or were planning on leaving the label at one point. And then we also have some images from V from the military coming out. So hey Dom, this is Dave Disci. Let's get into it. There have been some images that have come out of the military and people are absolutely shocked. The first image that has come out is just a selfie that we see of V, and people are noticing that he looks extremely buff. It definitely showed how slim he was before, which is totally cool. And then we see him a little bit bigger, but of course this also makes him look older, which is why I think idols like to be slimmer just to look younger. But people were definitely having a moment with this. They were freaking out about it, and they were definitely freaking out over this idea of when V comes back from the military, if he's going to show off his potentially new buffer, maybe more athletic frame. Another image came out in which people were saying that one of V's juniors posted this. I don't know how people found this image. I definitely don't know how people know the account in which V and his junior would have. Because it's one thing to just see a bunch of photos online and then repost it, but it's another if someone who is actually not famous and then you're reposting their photos, and then how do people know about it? But it's also very difficult to know who actually is in this photo. So we just have to kind of believe what people are saying about who is in this photo, and that they're saying that it's V that's in the photo and that he's hanging on to a rope on a helicopter. This is absolutely insane to see, and I'm definitely wondering if the boys are getting a lot of inspiration from being in the military and are thinking, wow, okay, we can use this for a music video, or we can use this for a performance, or we can use this for something to make their art a lot more epic. Some of the most intelligent people in the world are people who are able to take their own experiences, take things that they go through, and be able to use them in their own work. And I hope to see some of that inspiration and some of the stuff that they took from the military to put it into their work. Photos like this also cause a little bit of concern because people are definitely scared that V might be pushing himself too hard, or V might be being pushed too hard, and people are definitely worried about his safety, and they hope that he's okay. Of course, you have to understand at this point, with him being in the military, he is definitely considered an expert. He also has done some pretty crazy things as a performer, so he's definitely used to doing stuff like this. And for example, if JK had to do something like this would not be a problem for him at all, because he has gone bungee jumping before and he's enjoyed that. And then also he does the flying over the crowd thing during his performances. So he's not scared of heights, he's not scared of dangling from a string, and I think they'll be okay. JK has done some of those moments in some of the reality shows that BTS were on, and I do react to some of those moments. If you're interested, I have the reaction over on Patreon. There is a less than $2 monthly tier that you can sign up for, and you'll get access to all of those videos in which I react, fangirl, and have fun with, as well as there's a community over there that you can talk to. And I really hope that you would go over there and see if you would like the videos over there. There's a link at the top of the description, so I hope to see you there and check it out. And if you do, I will see you there. Now, of course, the military will be a topic of conversation until they come back, but there's also a lot of other stuff going on right now that has sort of overshadowed a lot of the military accomplishments that are going on. For example, one of the things that is a huge topic of conversation right now is apparently an inside industry report that was leaked by a whistleblower. It's interesting that with the whistleblower leaking this, because I think they probably will get in big trouble, but a lot of the stuff that has come out, I find it really hard to believe that this came from the label, because the whole point of this alleged document that has come out is that it was supposed to be sent to executives, and executives were supposed to then be made aware of a lot of the stuff that's happening with their artists. So things like fan perspectives, things like industry trends, music trends, all of that was supposed to be written in this document. And it was supposed to be a regular thing that was sent to the executives for them to see. Now, of course, the CEO has addressed this by saying that some of the comments in there were inappropriate, and they have acknowledged that. But it's interesting that some of the things in there, at least in my opinion, it's not that it's inappropriate, it's just written so casually that I would find it almost hard to believe that this was written to an executive. It's one thing if it was written just like in a formal language, but written in a way that was very insulting versus just a casual tone. But if you're writing this to an executive, I don't know if this is a translation thing. But the thing that I find really hard to believe is that it's coming from a company. So this is where I have my doubts on the legitimacy of what's being translated and what is actually true and what isn't. Of course, the CEO didn't go line by line in the document and acknowledged or denied every claim, so we actually don't know specifically what he's referencing or what is true and what isn't. There was a section that was talking about how it was believed that JK was piggybacking off other artists and that there were expectations that he couldn't meet, like he wouldn't meet his quota doing his solo career, which I find to be a very interesting take. Now keep in mind the person who wrote this, or potentially the people who were writing this, does not represent the company as a whole, but just potentially a section of the company or just the perspective of this one or few people writing this. And of course, these people, for some reason, have this particular opinion on JK. JK is someone who has been the lead vocalist for the group. Typically, he's the one that has the most singing lines in any given BTS song that requires singing. So it's a very interesting take, in my opinion, to assume that he wouldn't succeed in a solo moment. So I feel like the stuff that was written in this document doesn't feel like it's coming from people in the company, because it simply just doesn't align with everything the company has done with BTS. So this is why I sometimes think the documents can be fudged. There could be people making up a document, spreading it, and then claiming that it's real, and then other people might translate it. Of course, this is not the fault of a translator, but I tend to not necessarily agree with the documents that are online that I am seeing that are insulting JK. Some people say it's quite clear the relationship that JK and the label might have with each other, and I don't 100% know if that's true and if JK really does have a bad relationship with the label. Apparently V and JK had considered leaving the label at one point, or weren't even entirely sure if they wanted to renew their contract. There was an interview that started picking up again as people were trying to figure out whether V and JK even wanted to be in the label anymore. And it was an interview with Suga. Apparently, he realized that JK and V had still remained undecided on whether they wanted to renew their contract. So him, RM, and J-Hope wrote a song and sent it to JK and V. And that's when V and JK said that after listening to the song, they decided that it was going to be a good idea to renew. Of course, this idea has led many people to believe that there was this contemplation going on, and why was there contemplation? Why wasn't it a no-brainer for them? Now, of course, the boys have talked at length about wanting to continue music, but people have this debate and this thought all the time. They have more than enough money to never have to work another day in their life and still live very extravagantly if they invested their money correctly. So maybe they are thinking about this idea of it really being stressful to be an artist, and they would much rather just work on their own terms, release one song every 5 years, and if people listen to it, they listen to it, and if they don't, they don't, and just kind of work independently. Or would they want to continue in the label and be stressed by touring and doing all of those things, but with the other members? Now, I'm not saying this is 100% what he was thinking, but we can't deny that there could have been that thought. There's so many reasons why someone would not want to renew or could even want to take a second to think about it. I don't think this means that he had officially filed to leave or that he was actually going to not renew, but sometimes it does take a push from the other members to really jolt yourself back up and realize, oh, maybe this is actually what I want. And this is all just assumptions and might not even have been that deep, and there could have been other reasons as to why JK and V even needed a song to remind them to re-sign. A lot of the stuff that I am talking about today has gotten me questioning, which means that I doubt the legitimacy of it. And so a lot of thoughts and opinions of it are literally just that, thoughts and opinions, and everything else is just alleged. I do want to clarify that because I don't think that a lot of the stuff that is coming out is fully accurate, and I think a lot of people are dogpiling on due to the lawsuit, and it's something that they can get trending from. So why wouldn't they do it? And it's something that people will talk about, and it would make their account popular. So they feel like they could just potentially make something up and get attention, and I have no idea whether what is being said online is true or not. I just know the nature of what the community can do, and so I often question or even triple question something and whether it's true or not. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.